What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing beverages of the moment. At Treehouse, we spend our life crafting beverages and sharing taste experiences with you can't find anywhere else. We travel, we learn, and we bring those discoveries home. Every can here is made with care, served at its peak, and meant to bring you joy. And we have a lot of those wonderful beverages in front of us today. So let's dive right in. All right, guys, so I encourage you to stick around for this whole video. If you are unfamiliar with Treehouse, we craft a wide variety of beverages, and there's actually some really interesting stories to tell behind each of them. So this isn't purely like, hey, this one tastes like lemon and lime, you should try it. There's a lot of travel and insight that goes into these beverages, and in these types of videos, we like to share that with you. If you're unfamiliar with Treehouse, Treehouse has a coffee roastery. We have a distillery, and of course, we're renowned for our beer that we make in our brewery here in Charlton, Massachusetts. One of our goals is to make something for everybody, so we do have non-alcoholic seltzer and most recently prebiotic soda, which we are definitely going to talk about and highlight in this video. So I want to start with something from our roastery and our cold brew program, which is a cold brew called Beachcomber. When a lot of people learn what this beverage is, they're turned off by it because we're unfamiliar with it. Coffee lemonade is not something that has penetrated popular culture in 2025, but we think it is a delicious beverage that deserves attention, and we've crafted one here that we think is ultra delicious, especially if you've never tried it. So basically what it does is it combines our house cold brew with fresh lemonade and a little bit of sweetness. Now, it's not a lot of sweetness. This isn't an overtly syrupy drink. It's not 300 calories. It's not even 150 calories. It comes in at 50 calories. All right, so in this coffee lemonade, we're not simply combining an ordinary coffee. We've actually selected a washed Ethiopian Yirgacheffe, which is known for its fruity, bright characteristics, especially when roasted delicately. And we thought when combined with that bright citrus character from the lemonade, it would work beautifully. Again, if you haven't tried this beverage, it's not super challenging to the palate. It's not the type of beverage that you have to come to like. I think that if you guys try it, you're going to like it when you first try it. And it's definitely better without any additional adjuncts or cream, so you can drink it just as is. It's super refreshing, and it's an entirely new flavor experience that many of us haven't had before. So next time you visit Treehouse, check out Beachcomber. All right, staying with the coffee program for a minute, but moving into a beer, we have a new coffee-based lager called Off the Ground. This is one that both the classic style team here at Treehouse and the roastery team are very excited about. If you're expecting an overtly coffee forward, like chocolatey, roasty, aggressive coffee character in this lager, you're not going to get it. The intention of this beer is a really delicate lager with a really delicate expression of origin character, blending together to make something super nuanced, super complex if you choose to pay attention, but also really elegant if you don't want to have your face melted off, because that's not the point of this beer. Point of this beer is combining, again, travel, discovery into a beverage that we think tastes unique. So in the base here, we have a very modestly hop forward lager brewed with Citra, Cascade, and Huel melon. So you're getting those bright citrus and modern hop notes very judiciously, not overwhelming your palate. And then on top of that, we've used another Yirgacheffe, this one from the Danche washing station. And this coffee also carries citrus forward characteristics. So when you blend the citrusy hops, modern hops, over a light lager with an expressive fruit forward coffee, you get this really delicate, crushable, refreshing lager that is a lot different from coffee lagers that maybe you've tried before. So again, it's a taste experience that we work really hard to distinguish from other taste experiences in the market. And next time you're at Treehouse, I would recommend trying Off the Ground on draft before taking some in cans to go. Next beverage I want to highlight, we're actually super hot here in Charlton today. We're kind of roasting out here making this video. I want to talk about Creamsicle, which is a near 0-calorie seltzer. We make it with actual whole bean vanilla, which is really arduous and frankly expensive. And we add fresh citrus to it, and that creamsicle flavor is just beautiful. It's crisp. It's refreshing. It reminds you of those pops that cost you 150 calories, but it doesn't cost you nearly as many. Beautiful can, beautiful flavor experience. Hard not to love creamsicle seltzer. I'm going to be drinking it the whole video. Next beverage I want to talk about has the brewery all fired up. Of course, we make beverages for you at home, but we also selfishly make them for ourselves here at the brewery. A lot of us are our own biggest fans in terms of taking our product home and enjoying it. And this prebiotic soda line has us all super jazzed here at the brewery. This next one has a bit more of a tonic, medicinal, herbal apothecary approach, which is utilizing ginger and lime, which is a very classic flavor combination. We do use fresh ginger. We do steep it freshly, and it imparts a beautiful, beautiful, bright flavor character to this product. We also use agave inulin for the prebiotic fiber contribution. We use chicory root and, of course, apple cider vinegar for another little health slant within that beverage. 35 calories. It's super, super tasty. Follows up wild berry, ginger lime, prebiotic soda. Super easy to drink. Not a lot of cost calorie wise, and man, is it tasty. All right, so moving on to the artist formerly known as Concord Club. If you guys are familiar with the Treehouse Cocktail Program, which is now in its 3rd or 4th year, we have transitioned the name of this gem from Concord Club to House Transfusion. So if you have had Concord Club and you can't find it, know that that has now become the House Transfusion. This is an iconic golf-centric cocktail, Concord grape juice, award-winning vodka. Our contribution to it is a hint of thyme, which gives it the tiniest bit of a savory note, but again, brings you that flavor experience that you can't have anywhere else. House Transfusion, it's one of our top 3 selling cocktails. It's so delicious, it's so natural, so wonderful to drink, especially during summertime. Do not miss it on the course or at home or by the pool. House Transfusion, we love it and think that you will too. All right, guys, next beverage I want to highlight, and kind of the theme of this video is how we distinguish our beverages from other beverages on the market. This Tom Collins drink is one that is not super unique in its construct. Tom Collins is lemon juice, lemonade, simple syrup, and gin. This gin within this Tom Collins is our Percy's gin, which is distinguished because we title it a New England gin, which utilizes apple, gives it kind of this sweet fruitiness that you don't normally get in traditional either citrus or juniper forward gin. You do get citrus and you do get juniper, but you get this kind of like homage to New England that's within this drink that to our palate makes it super unique. So Tom Collins flies under the radar. I haven't met anyone that's tried it that hasn't loved it. So next time you're here, I would encourage you to give it a try. Moving on to the beer portion of the video, guys, the first one I want to highlight is one that I think has a beautiful design. Kudos to the design team here at Treehouse. This beer is called Zesty. Again, a lot of the beverages that we make are vehicles for expression for our brewers, our cellar people, our packaging team. The media team contributes ideas to the beers that we make. Everyone at Treehouse contributes ideas to beverages. And the brewers, cellar people, and packaging line folks are the ones who execute meticulously. Zesty is a crisp, easy drinking lager, 4.4% alcohol, utilizing, of course, New Zealand-based hops. The name comes from a very citrus-forward hop bill, which features Matueka and Zumo. Both hops very citrus-forward. That's kind of where the beer gets its name. Beer is very low in alcohol, very pale, very light, very refreshing with a beautiful, bright, fresh hop character. What's not to love about that? That's a beer called Zesty. Meander is low-key one of my favorite beers that Treehouse makes. Why do I love it so much? Well, the way we think about Meander is we basically call it Trail Dry. If you're not familiar, Trail is our house German-style pills. This particular beer is more or less that beer fermented with a yeast that attenuates at a greater rate. So you get all that really bright, fresh bread and hop character in Meander with a super, super dry and crispy finish. Elegant beer all around, super bright, super crushable, super expressive, and my favorite, dry, drinkable. You get that kind of feeling on your palate that you want to have another sip, where Trail has a little bit of sweetness and it's not quite as challenging per se on the palate, but Meander's a drinker's beer. It's a person who appreciates a flavorful, super punchy, palate challenging German pils. I love this beer so much. If you like a punchy Pilsner, this is a great place to start. All right, guys, so next beer I want to highlight is our New Zealand Pilsner called Ruby Bay. When you go to Hop Selection in New Zealand, you visit a place called Ruby Bay. You can't help but visit. It's right there, right outside the hop growing region. This particular beer features new hop profiles, specifically Peacherine, Nelson, Rawaka. It's very citrusy, limey, Sauvignon Blanc. It's dry, it's crisp. It's 5% alcohol, which for me is like the sweet spot. Any higher than that, it's too much. Any lower than that, it's not enough. The hop character in Ruby Bay is super bright, super fresh, super punchy. It's almost like a New Zealand style IPA, but with a Pilsner base, and it's super dry. So if you like a hop-forward Pilsner, you're absolutely going to love Ruby Bay. Once again, it's one of my favorite beers that we make. You may hear me sounding like a broken record. That 4.5 to 6% crisp, hoppy, punchy beer is where I like to be. Ruby Bay fits that to a T. Moving on to a beer that needs no introduction, of course, we have Julius. The reason I wanted to highlight this is because we did do a commemorative can that marks 10 years of the Julius proper can. If you guys look at the design, I think it's fair to say that at this time it has become iconic. The cursive font, the whimsical tree, that design graces so many of our best-selling beers even to this day. That design language didn't exist 10 years ago, and commemorating when that came to be is something we feel really strongly about. This can is a Pantone color that we're trying to call Julius Orange. Really bright can. With the white, it really pops like a new pair of sneakers. The beer that's inside of here is Julius. We didn't make any specific tweaks to it for this batch. It's tasting bright, fresh, and delicious, and it does have our newest hop selections inside of it, so you're in for a treat if you get your hands on some commemorative Julius. All right, guys, next beer I want to feature is one that, once again, we here at the brewery are very, very excited about. It's a beer called Westy. We've flirted with West Coast style IPAs in many different ways over the years. We've never fully committed to the enamel ripping, dry, grapefruit forward, bitter West Coast hop bomb, but we didn't know they could actually taste this good when they're this fresh. So Westy is our expression of love for a classic style. You're going to get a dry beer that's effervescent with ruby red grapefruit, beautiful classic Pacific Northwest hop blend. And if you like that old school mid 2000s classic original West Coast dry style IPA with dextrose and dryness, Westy's going to make you super happy, as is its little brother, Little Westy, which we don't currently have, but if and when you see it, you're going to love it. All right, guys, thanks for sticking with me. If you enjoy this content, leave your thoughts down below. If you're new here to the channel, make sure you check out some of our other videos. And as always, subscribing to the channel is a huge help. I think we're 2,500 subscribers away from 50,000. And when that happens, we're going to have a big celebration that we don't want you guys to miss. So 50,000 is upcoming. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, do us a solid. Click that button. All right, guys, next beer I want to highlight is a mashup of Juicy Machine, which is the single IPA version of Juice Machine, and Days, which is the single IPA version of Haze, to make a single IPA mashup of both called Days Against the Machine. This beer combines all the pineapple character of Juice Machine, the peach character of Days into one bright, beautiful single IPA. The mashup works exceedingly well. The fun purple can with the dude on the skateboard is super awesome. Those of us here at the brewery that like this sweet spot in a single IPA have been loving this beer. It's not going to last long, so if you want to give this a try, I would recommend sooner rather than later. You guys who are fans of the channel and the brewery have heard us write and say the words labor of love many times. No beer encapsulates the idea of a labor of love as much as Nelson Many Ways Garston. We could make an hour-long video about why we love this beer. In fact, we kind of did. We'll link that one down below. This beer just articulates our passion for hoppy discovery, our passion for ways in which terroir, regional influences can affect hop outcomes, and the ways in which those relationships can benefit those that grow the hops, and the feedback loop that enables us to give real and candid feedback to the growers, and even participate in the way those hops are dried, kilned, packaged, shipped, etc. This beer represents all the things. So if you care about those things, if you pay really close attention to the differences between the many different Nelson beers that we have, we strongly believe, again, you've heard me on the channel joke about the Citra Mosaic meme with all the different Christmas movies effectively being the same. And that's a very jaded way of looking at it. Us having traveled and experienced these hops in these different climates, Nelson from 3 different farms that are 250 miles apart, actually expresses itself tremendously differently, and we do pursue capturing that for you in these cans aggressively. We were not fortunate to make the trip to New Zealand this spring, but Porter, Suds, Kyle, and the rest of the team were. We do have a video upcoming where they visited Garston once again. They visited Welcome Rock. I think Michael can roll some B-roll to show you guys what Welcome Rock looks like. But again, this beer kind of expresses all the love and intention that we have for our beer for you guys in a single can. So next time you're here, we would encourage you to not only give it a try, but, peruse our socials, look for Treehouse in Garston. We've got many videos on the topic, and we have many Instagram posts that discuss the ways in which we put our energy into a beer like this. All right, so the final beer that I want to highlight is a wonderful, beautiful design by Jackie here in the design team. I also want to highlight Evan, who works with us, has recently transitioned from being a seller person into being our copywriting person, and a lot of his work and his intention is on these cans. So it's a lifelong poet and philosopher studier of language who expresses himself in different ways on the can, and I happen to think it's quite beautiful. Chain Reaction is a triple IPA that absolutely jumps out of the can. We did feature Zumo once again on this beer with a base of citrus-forward hops. Like our other triple IPAs, the intention is for it to have all the hop saturation you could possibly imagine without ever being abrasive or burning or tasting worse as you drink your way through the glass. So with each successive triple IPA we make, we try to improve upon those things, and with Chain Reaction, we think that this is a nice snapshot in time for those efforts, and we find it to be extremely delicious. All right, gang, thanks for sticking with me through this one. The point of these videos, hopefully you get some insight behind the love and energy that goes into crafting these beverages. The wild thing about Treehouse is that this is just a teeny snapshot. If you go on the website, you're going to see literally hundreds of SKUs, all of which are super fresh and available across our ecosystem. Of course, if you have any questions for us, hit us up on social media, leave your thoughts down below. And as always, we want to thank you for watching. Take care.